Good morning, students. Today we are going to see about the hypothalamus. What is hypothalamus? It is actually a part of the brain. It is present in the posterior part of the forebrain. It connects the midbrain with the cerebral hemisphere and it encloses the third ventricle. It extends from the optic chiasma to the mammillary body, formed by a group of nuclei in the wall and floor of the third ventricle. What are the functions of hypothalamus? It is concerned mainly with the homeostasis of the body. It regulates many vital functions of the body like endocrine functions, visceral functions, metabolic activities, hunger, thirst, sleep, wakefulness, emotion, sexual functions, etc. The secretion of the posterior pituitary hormones. The hypothalamus produces the posterior pituitary, that is the antidiuretic hormone, and the oxytocin. It is transported by means of axonic or axoplasmic flow. It passes through the fibers of hypothalamo-hypophyseal tracts to the posterior pituitary. How does it control? The control of anterior pituitary. Hypothalamus secretes the releasing hormones, five releasing hormones and two inhibitory hormones, which in turn produces seven hormones. Growth hormone releasing hormone, growth hormone releasing polypeptide, thyrotropic releasing hormone, corticotropin releasing hormone, gonadotropin releasing hormone, and the two inhibitory hormones are growth hormone inhibitory hormone, that is somatostatin, and prolactin inhibitory hormone. These are transmitted to the anterior pituitary by the hypothalamo-hypophyseal portal blood vessels. How is it controlled? Control of the adrenal cortex. It is controlled by means of the paraventricular nucleus of the hypothalamus, which has a control over the corticotropic releasing hormones, which in turn controls the anterior pituitary, which in turn controls the adrenocorticotropic hormone. How is the adrenal medulla controlled? It is an emotional stimuli which send impulses to the adrenal medulla via the sympathetic fibers, which releases the catecholamines and it copes with the emotional stress. Next is regulation of the autonomic nervous system. Hypothalamus controls the autonomic nervous system. The sympathetic division leads to the regulation of the posterior and the lateral nuclei. The parasympathetic division is controlled by the anterior group of nuclei. Regulation of the heart rate. It regulates the heart rate via the vasomotor center in the medulla oblongata. Stimulation of posterior and lateral nuclei of hypothalamus increases the heart rate. Stimulation of peptic nucleus in anterior group, it decreases the heart. How is blood pressure regulated? By acting on a vasomotor center. Stimulation of the posterior and lateral hypothalamic nuclei. It increases the arterial blood pressure. Stimulation of the preoptic area decreases the blood pressure. Regulation of body temperature. Hypothalamus sets the normal range of body temperature. The body temperature in normal physiological condition is 37 degrees Celsius. It is regulated by two centers in hypothalamus, heat loss center and heat gain center. Heat loss center is present in the preoptic nucleus of anterior hypothalamus. Heat gain center is present in the posterior hypothalamic nucleus. Regulation of hunger and food intake. These are regulated by two centers in the hypothalamus. One is the feeding center, the other one is the satiety center. Feeding center. Stimulation of the center leads to the uncontrolled hunger may lead to obesity. Destruction of the center may lead to anorexia. This center is always active, that means it has a tendency to induce food intake always. Satiety centers act the vice versa of that. It leads to hypothalamic obesity. After food intake causes temporary inhibition of feeding center. Regulation of sleep and wakefulness. Wakefulness center is regulated by the mammillary body in the post hypothalamus. The lesion of wakefulness center or stimulation of anterior hypothalamus leads to this. Thank you.